This
Started.
conference will now be recorded.
All right, so happy Friday, everyone. Today is Friday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. And as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so we got a bunch of stuff going on. I have a pretty decent list coming into this morning. Usually Thursdays are a little bit slow, and then we come into Friday and we start to see a lot more coming in, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So first thing, CGC. So we're coming up to that 2450, and we have to remember that 25 is right above. And I mean, if we come back to the bigger prints, if you look here at 2350, 2340, 2375, it's really showing us that it has the ability to break above that 25 level. But as we've been coming up, you can see there's just been more profit taking than basically anything else. There just has not been a lot of new buying that's coming in above that level. So overall, we do have the buying in order to be able to break that. But at this moment, we're not seeing enough new buying that's coming in near those highs for us, for us to really think that it's going to be able to make that move up. So really, when we come into the beginning of the market, I'm really going to be expecting some type of, kind of big move, and then us coming back underneath there, unless we see something at 2450 that shows us that we have more to be able to break that. So it's kind of like a crappy situation, considering the fact that we have the buying to be able to break above 25, but we're just not seeing enough coming in as we're pushing towards those highs. And we're seeing, like, once again, just a lot of that profit taking. So we're going to need to see a little bit more here and or pull back below these prints right here. So coming underneath that 2375 level. So if we come underneath that 2375 level and then get some type of push back up. But either way, we need to see new buying. That's it. That's simple. So, as we're at those highs, if we continuously see profit taking, we don't see that new buying, then we're not going to be able to make that move immediately. But at the same time, once again, I mean, it has a buy-in. We know it's going to be an exception. On average, $1.31. We have 2.2 million shares already being traded. So let's go to CRON, C-R-O-N. So 750, we have a ton of buying that came into here. Never really pulled back, but based off the pre-market personality, I don't expect a huge pullback, to be honest with you, because we started a little bit underneath it, and you can see all of this, and then we came into that 750. So I do need it to pull back, but I don't need it to pull back a huge amount. So pretty much as soon as we start to see this thing come down, I'm just going to be moving my order down and down and down and down until we get that trigger coming back up, and then we have the buying for 850, so 8 is going to be our first profit target. Next thing looking at is Roku. So Roku usually wouldn't be on my my morning list, but coming into it, I mean, it's gonna move big today. We can see, it took a huge jump from 135, all the way up to our highs about 157. The only thing, again, is it just hasn't really shown a ton that really gives us the indication of where it's looking to go. Because we come up to 152, we have a little bit of selling. We come up to 151 after we pull back from it, we have a little bit of selling, and then 150 is going to be a very hard level for this thing to be able to hold. So if we continuously see this selling coming in, I'm going to expect a substantial pullback coming in before we would really see that move coming back towards that upside. And there just really isn't that much buying towards the upside at all. I mean, this morning, it's going to move huge, but we're going to have to wait for the actual show of hand, because it just has not came in this morning. So it's a little bit mixed. I mean, there is still some new buying, but 150, once again, is just going to be a very hard level to hold. So I was talking about EXPE before, and we can see that it's kind of just sitting in this consolidation. Normally, if this is what it looked like, we wouldn't even be watching it. But after that big jump up that came in, that's a lot of selling. That's a lot of profit taking that's coming back in. So I would not be shocked for us to be able to get at least $2-3 coming back towards that downside because somebody definitely took off a large part of their position. Now we do have one print at 122.50, which is 17,400, which is pretty good. It's not going to be, the definitive show of hand that we're going to be looking for coming into the morning, but at the same time, I mean, that is a pretty decent amount, and we have to expect, obviously, there's going to be profit taking, but we're just not getting that new buying that's coming in afterwards. We have 124,000 shares. I mean, that is a lot compared to what the orders are and compared to what the actual volume that's being traded is, but it's not going to be something that we're going to be able to take our first trade on. So I'm going to be looking very closely for this thing to kind of take more than likely look for a pull up towards that 125 level, so a quick move towards that, and then set your order up to come back underneath these 122 prints, because I mean, overall that's the biggest show of hand that we've seen, and then 125 is a huge psychological level. So definitely, I like this setup a lot, and I really do like these prints. Now, the one, the little new buying that we're seeing coming in definitely does have a little bit of an effect, but it's definitely not enough to tell us that it's going to be able to push past that 125. So going to the side list, GNPX, we've been looking at this since yesterday. We have some really good buying that's been coming into it. Now, I didn't see what the aftermarket was, and frankly, I really don't care. I need to see something new that's coming in. And if you look, it's once again, it's just, coming around that 315 area, not bad, but there's just not enough for me really to be kind of sold on it. But at the same time, based off of what we've been seeing, especially yesterday when we were looking for that breakout to come back in, I mean, there was enough buying for us to get a lot higher than this. We had some buying at 3. I mean, it's a little bit mixed. But at the same time, really what we want to do is we want to hold this 280 point, and as long as we see as we come back down to it that we start to get that new buying coming in, then that's going to show us that we still have the opportunity not only to to pop up towards this double top, but to actually be able to break above that 325. It's going to need more new buying. This burst that we see right here, basically between 309 and 315, is a lot. Based off the personality of the prints that we're actually seeing, you can see it doesn't really give that much, that many prints that look like that. So overall, there's definitely the new buying up there, but at the same time, it's not a controlling print. It's not, it's kind of in the middle. So that's why we're going to keep it on our side list. And then moving over to BTAI. Another side list stock, and I have to put it on the side list because if you look, it really moves on absolutely nothing. You can see 31, we had 1,500 shares at 816 this morning. 36, 1,000 shares. I mean, it does not take much. The spread is, really jumping around. As from right this second, you can see it's 70 cents. But at the same time, if we get some type of show of hand that comes into this, it's really going to be an easy read, and it's really going to give us a definitive and direct location of where the stock is going to be going. So as we get closer towards that open, as we start to see more volume coming in, if we get a few prints that come into here, we're going to expect a pretty substantial pullback, at least $1. So we're going to start with $1, and then from there, I'm going to give or take about $2.50, and that's pretty conservative based off the range that we're seeing so far, because above this 25, I mean, there's just nothing really there. And then about 8:30, as we came above that 35, it does not take much. So also be ready for, if we see that selling burst that comes back in, there's no substance behind what actually moved basically from 7 to, so about 7 to 8:30, there's just no substance behind it. So if we see some nice selling prints coming in, I'm going to be looking for a short big time. Just make sure you go out there, and especially if you have a trade station, that you get your shares, because otherwise you're not going to be able to short it. All right, guys, anything else out there that I missed? BLNK. All right, so looks like it started right before. Let's see what our prints are. Yeah, see, the thing about it is, we have a couple prints at 3 that was followed by a bid. I don't see much that's coming into it. I mean, it definitely has the opportunity. Everything about it kind of it fits, all the variables that fit, but there's just really nothing above it. And we keep seeing this selling coming in. So the trigger itself, it's not going to be the first thing that I would be looking at. So, I mean, the trigger itself, there's really nothing for it to come back up to. So there are better things, but I mean, it fits everything. So I definitely will put that on our side list. INO had buying at 4 yesterday. So the thing about INO is that it's not going to be a day trade. And that's my biggest problem with it. Maybe its personality is going to change, but for the most part, it ends up being completely quanti, and there's just not really much there. And even like when we see this buying that's coming in right now, this looks like good buying if it was with something else, but in INO, this really, it's not much. So, I mean, keep an eye on it, but I mean, it's just not, we have better, 100 million better things to look at this morning. So it's just, I'm not sold on it at all. So, like I said, keep it on your list, if it fits your game plan. But at this moment, I see better things that are going on out there. All right, guys. So once again, remember that we have a 3-day weekend. Market is closed on Davis, CARG. Is this going to be one of those stocks? It's not terrible. It's a little bit consolidated within its trading. Somebody covered at 27.30, but it has new selling coming in 28. Yeah, no, it's not bad at all. So 28's a little bit far away, 27. So we don't really have anything that's that great, but at the same time, 27, yeah, it's not terrible. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. It has to go on the side list just because of the fact that there's really, it's very mixed coming into that 27. So 27 right above, somebody covered at 27.30, which just doesn't really make much sense. And then we only got, the reaction was a little bit of new selling. So not, once again, just not definitive yet, but at the same time, it's definitely going to have a range. It's definitely going to move. So we'll definitely keep an eye, but it needs to show something that's a little bit better. Okay. All right, guys. So I will see everyone in the chat, and happy trading.